Okay, so setting up Santa Photo. So you set up the tripod, and what I typically do is there's like a brick that's like centered where Santa is going to be. So like you'll just want to move the tripod to where the leg, I like having like the two legs back to me, and then this, and then just make sure the head is set like on the bobble so that way it's nice and stationary. I'll bring this up just a little bit too, so it's kind of facing down a little bit. So that's tripod. You'll have this, which is the Sony camera, and then you'll have the laptop as well. And so just to give a quick overview of the setup, so you're gonna have power and the camera plugged in through an adapter into the laptop. So everything should be in here. Then you're gonna basically have Sony remote camera here. You're gonna be able to like, and actually this is typically how the setup is. You'll have the laptop to your right, camera here to your left, and you're just gonna be able to, on here, click the remote edit, hit capture photo, it'll capture a photo, and then you'll just grab those photos, send them to the email. So I'll typically, because there's kids and stuff, I'll typically grab like 6 to 8 photos for one family. So it's like we try to send 3 to maybe 4, just because of the size of the photos, everything like that. You only want to send about 3 or 4, but the goal of the whole thing is to try and get a photo with Santa in 30 seconds. Like, just speed is the name of the game here, because we're typically having 100 to 130 people on a Saturday, or like groups of families on a Saturday, and 2 hours, like that's, you know, 1 a minute basically. So we're trying to get it as quick as we can while still getting them the best experience with Santa as well as the best quality photos. So I'll give you a little quick, so now that like I've kind of explained it, this is what we're gonna do. So in the bag, you're gonna see this power brick right here. So this power brick has 2 things. So it has a power brick that's gonna go, actually let me unplug this stuff right there. So not to confuse everybody, let me throw that over there. Get the iPad out of here. So this power brick has power to the laptop as well as power to the camera. And so that's gonna power both your laptop and your camera. So the USB dongle here is gonna have both the power into the laptop, as well as you're gonna have a SD card or a USB. That's where the photos are gonna store. So I'll plug that into this slot here. And then I'll just plug up the camera right here, like so. And then get the power for the camera right there. Oh, sometimes it's, yep. So it's locked in. And then, I'll have you come over here, Zach. So I'll just give you a little sample. So the bottom of this has a little rubber flap. So you're gonna wanna close this, just kind of push it down and then slide the lock over. And so push it down with the rubber, the cable coming out of it, and then slide that over. And then boom, you've got the camera. So nice and easy. And I always have it on the gold auto, like it's just kind of been the best from my experience right here. So bingo, just like so. And then the other thing is I typically try to keep it around 35 millimeters. That's been the best experience I've had, but even bringing it back a little bit to 28, but 25, between 28 and 35, the goal is to get the backdrop in the frame so that it doesn't look like there's emptiness on the sides, but also still having everything good. So the next step is to get the camera connected up to the laptop here. And so Through USB here, we're just going to connect it USB here, and then I like to wrap it around just to kind of clean the cords up a little bit. And then if you want to come over here, there is 2 adapters here. One is HDMI, the other is USB. And so you'll just plug that in there. And then on here, it's going to show connecting up to USB. And so let's get agree and proceed. So then once that's set, you're going to put this in the backpack, store that up along with the tripod case. And then on here now, so the great thing is you're going to see the A6600 in the remote software. So I'm going to remove that. So the main 3, and actually I'll keep that up there. The main 3 applications you're going to see is Notes, Remote, and Mail. So those are going to be the main 3. And so I'm going to hit close here, or actually open up Remote. And then I'll just say connect. So I double click on that and it's going to connect up. And so here what you're going to see is there's autofocus and then shutter. And so literally I'll just hit autofocus to make sure that it's in focus on all the kids, and then hit the camera shutter. And so in here, you're going to, wherever under the save settings down here, it's going to show save in, and then this is where it's going to store. So we try to have either a USB or an SD card connected up at all times. So then that way, that's where the pictures are stored. And then we save them in each date. So like, it'll show like Saturday 11:30, 12:06, 12:13, so on and so forth. But in here, it's just under pictures. And so for today, this is what you're going to see is just boom, boom, boom. And so, yeah, so like this is Santa from last year. And so once you found like the 3 pictures that you like, you're just going to, either you're going to hit command and then select the ones. So like, say I wanted this one and this one, but that third one, the middle one's not a good one. You're going to do those, and then you're just going to drag it down to the mail application. It's going to pull up the email with everything, and it's going to have the signature already set. And then you're going to pull, and let me back up just a second, but basically you're going to have A1 through, like, so each day is A, B, A is the first Saturday, B is the second Saturday, C is the third Saturday. So you're going to have all of the emails and their number. And so you're going to want to confirm with Troy or whoever's running the line what number the person is. So like, I'll often confirm with the parent or the person of like, hey, are you A004? And they're like, yep, that's me. I'm like, perfect. And so I'm just going to copy the email, and then I'll take the photo, and then boom, take the photos, and then go from here, drag them into the mail application, and then I'll just hit Command V, which is paste. Subject, you just have to type ELS, and it's an auto send. And so it's just going to pull up the subject of 2024 Elevate Santa Photos. So it just automatically ELS types out the whole thing. So ELS, enter, and then you just hit send. So image size is large. We don't do actual size just because 2 photos is 5 megabytes and each photo is about 10. So it's like, if we're trying to get 4 photos in here, it won't send it. And it bogs up the whole everything. But this is literally just email. So Command V. So you find their email. So it's like, say they're A45. I just grab their email, Command C, remote, take the photos, drag it over to mail, paste in the email right here. ELS, boom, and send. And that's it. It's that, like, That's every person, every time. It's just confirm their email. And once you get into a root groove, you're like, because the way that Troy or whoever's running the line, because like, I mean, this first, let's see, how many did we have on that first one? I think we had a 91. So we had 91 groups on that first Saturday. And so Troy will try and get all of them lined up, and you'll kind of overhear like, okay, do we have 4? Do we have 4? And all right, 4, come on up. And so you don't always have to confirm with them, but it's always good just because a lot of times we'll run into people getting the wrong photos. And so you just want to be extra careful, like confirm that it's the right person and the right email address. So like sometimes if it's like shows at gmail.com or like they typed it in wrong, like you just can confirm it with them and being like, hey, is it at ymail.com? And they'll be like, yep, that's mine, perfect. And so then you just Command C, take the photos, and then drag those photos down into mail, and then paste the email, ELS, send. And so at that point, like it literally does take only a few seconds to go through the whole startup process. So yeah, so that's kind of where in 2023, 2024, you'll see the folder and how many emails are coming in through A, through B, through C, through D in the Notes app. So the 3 most important apps, Notes is where you're going to confirm that you're receiving emails. Remote is where you hit autofocus, take the photo, so on and so forth. And then you're just going to drag them from Finder. So like wherever they pop up. So like here, pop up, drag them down to mail, and then boom, ELS, spacebar, and send. So the other thing that, just a little tip that I like to do is, this is just a quick switch around, but you can hit Command Tab. So Command and then Tab allows you to pull up this, which shows all your applications. And so then I can easily go from like mail over to remote or over to Notes. So like if I quickly want to go to Notes rather than you moving my cursor down, so like, oh, do I have the cursor selected on the right thing? Like I can just Command Tab, and then it pulls up that. So that's a quick little thing that you can do to like switch in between each application easily. That is just makes it nice and easy. So yeah, those are kind of the main things. And then, yeah, I always just try to keep the area clean as possible. Like you're going to get a lot of parents that'll come up and be like, oh, can I see them? And you just have to stay focused of like, all right, I've got the next one coming on. I can't really answer questions. Oh, Barb, you know, like, oh, redirect them to Barb or whoever is running the tab tablet or getting the information. Because we have an iPad that where they're putting in the information and then it's coming on to your Notes app through that. So that's how you know it's synchronizing, is when you get there, you're going to start to see, okay, we've got all the way through 14 already, but like already at 10:30 a.m. Like you're going to start to see that. But that's literally the system, is the powers both the laptop and the camera. The dongle is where you have the power and the connection to the camera. And then the 3 applications, Notes app, where you get the contact information, Command C, remote app, where you take the photo, and then Finder to drag it down into mail. Paste, tab, ELS, and enter. And then boom, send the email. Let me know if you have any questions. My number is 602-317-1686. All right, see you guys.